Hello and welcome to the Kerbal Green Program. This is the fourth one. As promised, this will be pushing that new base that we created in the last episode. And after many complaints from Matwig, my ears have had enough bashing, and I decided to make it so that it flew straight. Apparently, being spun around at about 1,000 meters a second wasn't enjoyable for little Matwig. Yeah, so after, pebble dashing the inside of his pod on, the many test flights, we got it sorted, and it should now fly dead straight. The main difference here is the absolutely gigantic fuel tanks that we've got. It's set up, so we're going to be going for Gilly. It should be fairly simple. The fuel in the ship should be capable of taking him to pretty much any planet he needs to go to. The downside is the ship, as it stands, is not really capable of landing and then taking off from planets, surfaces. So for now, we're going to be going for a moon because we can get into orbit, drop the pod again, like we did with Minmus in the last test, and we'll see what happens. In a moment you'll see how the new model is looking, and we've got it designed so that even though we do lose a few parts along the way, they don't get dropped off in our atmosphere, which will keep the pollution down, and we're hoping to see some trees recovering within the next episode or two. As you saw, it was a perfect takeoff now. Very, very stable. Admittedly, incredibly slow as fuck, but very stable on the takeoff. Pretty much straight up. And now it's just a case of using them two nuclear engines to boost us towards Eve. And then we'll start getting into the orbit of Gilly. Matwig looking as happy as ever. The drugs are clearly doing their job. And here we go, aerobraking inside of the atmosphere of the planet. Got to be very careful. The gravity on this planet is ridiculous. So if you get within 100 kilometers of the surface, you can end up being dragged down and crash. And of course, with just nuclear engines, it's definitely not capable of escaping the gravity if I get too far in it. Now we're just going to set up a meet for Gilly, and then we'll go for the landing. I'm not quite sure why, but Matwig has stated his desire to go for a bit of a rock viewing. He's gained a rather large love for rocks. I'm not sure why, but we'll see if we can figure out why when we see him landing on a planet. I say planet, I mean moon. Just filling up that top pod and all the middle sections. He overshot it. Ah, what a noob. Now he's burning towards the moon. That's the way to do it. The gravity on Gilly is horrendous. It's practically non-existent. You could set up an orbit at about 2 kilometers if you wanted, and you'd be moving probably something stupid like 10 meters a second. I've opted for a slightly higher orbit. I could, in theory, just literally use the jetpack to go down to the surface and come back up again. It's that easy. But obviously, we need the science. And while Matwig is capable of going down and coming back up, he is not capable of having all of the science equipment fitted onto him. We are working on gluing all of the science equipment to Matwig, because it would save a bit more fuel, make it a little greener. But so far we've only managed to get it in a suppository form. And yeah, well, it doesn't necessarily do the job that we want from, you know, that particular location. And Matwig doesn't necessarily enjoy it. Not as much as some of the other test pilots. Anyway, here we go. Bit of science as we come down towards the landing. Oh, we can see why Matwig chose to come to Gilly. Look at all them rocks. I'm not sure if they look like a large flock of pimples or a large flock of breasts. Either way, I feel a strong sensation to go and squeeze them all. Coming in for the perfect landing. Grab a bit of science, and then Matwig will jump out and do a bit of exploration. Obviously, he won't try to jump over the top of the ship this time and faceplant like he did last time. As fun as it is, we don't want to risk him getting any more brain damage than he already is. That should be the majority of the science. Good job, Matwig. Let's get out and check it out. Look at that. He landed. He didn't break anything. Stop staring. Go on. Jump up so you can get a look. Look at that. A 1 second push of the jetpack, and he's already managed to get back up to the orbit of the main ship. Ridiculous. Anyway, get back down and give him a squeeze, Matwig, and then we'll get this ship back on the road. This is the final of the test missions. The next flight will be the first official flight of the Kerbal Green Program. All tests have been successful. The first one, of course, just testing the idea of the launching from high altitude using the jet fuel powered base. The second one being a flight to the moon. The third one being a very highly modified version of the base, going to Minmus with a much higher escape velocity and fuel capacity. And of course, this being the fourth test, we've got the same base as used in the last one, but much better control and a much greater fuel capacity, which has allowed us to come to this planet. And now Matwig, about to test what he learned in the last mission to see if he can get the docking on the first attempt. And he fucked it up. What a chode. Well, you come in second again. You know, some girls would like you for coming second. Not me though, because I'm not a girl. Well, bring it home. Bring it home. And then drop off that final tank. The way the ship is set up is as the fuel gets used, the fuel tanks just drop off one at a time. So every time that some of the fuel is used, it gets lighter and lighter and lighter and more fuel efficient as you go. Now, we have been assured quite strongly that this time the descent of the rocket will be perfect. Nothing will blow up, nothing will come crashing down on Matwig or the ship, and none of the stuff will blow up and cause damage to anything. Whether that's true remains to be seen, but we hope that we can take the scientists at their word this time. Let's see what happens as we come in for the final landing. And the first bit, perfect, absolutely perfect. And the second bit, will it blow up? No, that is perfect as well. Brilliant. That's actually quite impressive. Thanks for checking out the video, guys. This is the final test. Tune in for the next episode. And he's knocked himself out again, hasn't he? What a dick.